All right, let's get right into it, because the world of software is going through a massive shakeup. A recent New York Times editorial, backed up by a deep dive report from Tekin, is saying we've basically entered a whole new era, the era of light-speed coding. And no, this isn't just about AI giving you a few coding suggestions. We're talking about AI acting as an entire autonomous development team.
So what does that actually mean for you, for us? Well, just think about this question for a second. What if you could have an idea for an app, a brilliant one, and see it go live globally in the time it takes you to drink your morning coffee? Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, that's the promise, and increasingly the reality of the revolution we're going to unpack right now. But to really grasp just how big a deal this is, we first have to look back at what it's replacing. Let's talk about the old way of building software, a model that was, and let's be honest, pretty broken. For decades, building software was this slow, expensive, painful grind. You're talking about months of planning meetings, endless nights hunting for that one missing semicolon, and just painstakingly translating human ideas into these really complex languages like Python or C++. It was a world filled with bureaucracy and just so much friction.
But that world? It's literally disappearing right before our eyes. We are now entering an age of coding at light speed, where the basic rules of how we create things have been totally rewritten.
And this is the engine that's making it all happen, the Agentic IDE. Now, don't think of this like a normal coding program. It's more like being a project manager. Instead of you typing out hundreds of lines of code, you just give it instructions, in plain English. And then a whole team of specialized AI agents goes out and builds the software for you.
So here's how it works step by step. First, you just feed it a document outlining your idea. The AI then basically acts like this master strategist, just shattering that idea into hundreds of tiny little micro-tasks. Then, like a super specialized crew, different AI agents get to work. You've got one building the database, another writing the APIs, a third designing the look and feel, and finally, boom, it's all put together and pushed live. The human bottleneck? It's just gone, engineered right out of the system.
And this quote from the Tekin analysis report, it just perfectly captures how huge this shift is. It's not about being a little bit faster. The very skill of memorizing complex syntax is becoming irrelevant. The entire game has changed.
So what happens when you give this kind of superpower to developers? Well, the economic fallout is immediate, and it's incredibly disruptive. We're seeing old empires start to wobble, and something completely new is rising up to take their place.
See, in the old world, if you wanted to build serious enterprise-level software, you needed these giant 300-person teams. And all that overhead, it didn't just cost a fortune. It created what people in the industry call bloatware. That slow, clunky software that feels like it was designed by a committee. Well, that era is coming to a very abrupt end.
And in its place, we're seeing the rise of a brand new phenomenon, the one-person unicorn. We're talking about a single, super talented developer who, with these AI agent systems, can build a product that can go head-to-head with giants like Microsoft or Salesforce. It's just a radical shift in power. And when you actually put the old model next to the new one, the difference isn't small. It's not an improvement, it is absolutely staggering. Just look at this chart. It lays out the insane contrast. Check out the burn rate. It goes from millions of dollars a month down to just a few thousand. And agility? Instead of being trapped in endless meetings, an agent-centric team can change its entire product direction in an afternoon. But the detail that really gets me is code consistency. It goes from a messy, fragmented Frankenstein's monster of code to absolute perfection. This isn't just better, it's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so this all brings us to probably the most important question here. What on earth does this mean for human developers? If the AI is doing all the building, where do people even fit in anymore?
Let's just ask the question directly. Are programmers obsolete? Is this the end? Well, the answer, according to the analysis, is a definite no. But, and this is a huge but, their role has been completely transformed.
And this slide just nails the shift. The old role, that was the junior code typist. Your job was basically memorizing syntax, writing the same boring code over and over, and hunting for typos. The new role is the system architect. Now, your job is orchestrating the AI agents, designing high-level security, and making sure the entire system actually does what the business needs it to do.
So here's the key takeaway. The value of a developer has actually skyrocketed. They've been promoted from a tactical typist to a strategic leader. They're no longer just writing the code, they are the CEO of their code base. But, and you knew there was a but, this incredible speed, this unbelievable power, it comes with a hidden and potentially catastrophic danger. There's a ghost in the code that we really need to talk about.
And that danger has a name: deep layer algorithmic hallucination. It's a very technical term for a simple and pretty terrifying idea. It's when an AI agent makes a mistake, it hallucinates, and it buries that flawed logic so deep in the foundation of the code that it's almost impossible for a human to ever find it.
And to understand the scale of this problem, just think about this number. We are talking about tens of thousands of lines of code being generated automatically every single day. The sheer volume makes a manual code review completely impossible.
And here's where it gets really scary. One tiny, invisible flaw buried deep down in the foundation by one AI agent, well, it then becomes the bedrock that all the other agents build upon. That single error becomes the flawed foundation for a million new features, and the problem just grows exponentially.
The end result? As the report chillingly warns, it creates an avalanche of catastrophic technical debt. You build the software monster that you can't fix because no human ever wrote it or even read the original source code.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We're left with a completely new set of rules for the tech industry. The world has fundamentally changed, and these are the new basics you have to know.
So here is the final verdict on this new software renaissance. First, coding is now strategic. Your most valuable skill isn't typing code. It's being able to clearly communicate a vision. Second, the age of tech monopolies is under threat. A tiny 3-person startup can genuinely challenge a Goliath. Third, automation is everything. If you're still deploying code manually, you're already a dinosaur. And finally, maybe the most important rule: speed needs brakes. All this amazing velocity, if you don't have smart human oversight, just creates software monsters that we can't control.
Which leaves us with one final, critical question to just let simmer. As we hurtle forward into this new age, powered by light-speed coding, who is really steering the ship? Is it the human architect, guiding things from 30,000 feet? Or is it the algorithm, building a future that we might not even fully understand?